You know, the story of Rama has been a cornerstone of culture and spirituality for thousands of years. Today, we're going to dive into this ancient epic, but with a really cool twist. We're exploring it through the vibrant, iconic panels of India's beloved Amar Chitrakatha comics. So, let's get started on this illustrated journey.
All right, so let's set the scene. We're in the glorious kingdom of Ayodhya, and here we meet our hero, Rama. He's the eldest of 4 devoted sons of King Dasharatha. And this isn't just any prince. Rama is, well, he's seen as the ideal man, righteous, totally beloved, and an archer who has no equal. His world right now is all about peace, duty, and harmony.
But that perfect world, it's about to be completely shattered. We're heading into the first major turning point of the story, where a bit of palace intrigue is about to send the kingdom's brightest star into darkness.
So King Dasharatha, he's getting older, and he makes a decision that makes the entire kingdom erupt in joy. Rama, who is the rightful heir and absolutely the people's choice, is going to be crowned king. I mean, celebrations start, and it feels like a golden age is just around the corner. Everything is exactly as it should be. Or so it seems.
And this is where it all starts to unravel. The queen's maid, Manthara, she starts whispering in Queen Kake's ear, planting these seeds of jealousy. She convinces the queen to cash in on 2 big promises the king once made her, and her demands are just devastating. First, she wants her own son, Bharata, to be king, and second, she wants the beloved Rama banished from the kingdom entirely.
And we're not talking about a brief timeout. The exile is for 14 long years. The king is absolutely heartbroken, but for Rama, honoring his father's word is everything. It's his highest duty. So he accepts his fate without a single word of protest, and just gets ready to leave his kingdom, his throne, everything he's ever known, behind.
But Rama isn't going to face this alone. No way. His devoted wife Sita and his incredibly loyal brother Lakshmana, they absolutely refuse to let him go by himself. They leave their royal clothes, their whole lives behind, and sneak away at dawn, just so they can avoid a massive public outcry. They leave behind a grieving father and a kingdom in total shock.
So life in the forest for the 3 of them is actually pretty simple, kind of peaceful. But their being there sets off a whole new and way more dangerous series of events. And this is where we get introduced to one of literature's all-time greatest villains. So how does the trouble start? Well, it begins with Shurpanakha, a demoness who becomes completely infatuated with Rama. When she gets rejected and then attacks Sita in a jealous rage, Lakshmana steps in and retaliates by cutting off her nose and ears. Humiliated, furious, she flees, swearing she's going to get her revenge. And her brother? Yeah, he is not someone you want to make angry. He is Ravana, the mighty 10-headed demon king of Lanka. When he hears what happened to his sister, his rage is just immense. He decides he has to punish Rama for this insult. But Ravana doesn't plan a straightforward attack. Oh no, he's much more cunning than that. He comes up with this elaborate trap. His uncle, who's a shape-shifting demon, will turn into this irresistible golden deer. The deer will lure Rama far away, leaving Sita vulnerable. And that's when Ravana will swoop in and snatch her. And the plan? It works perfectly. Sita is totally enchanted by this magical deer and begs Rama to capture it for her. Rama, having no idea what's really going on, but just wanting to make his wife happy, agrees. And with those words, "I will get it for you, Sita," he unknowingly walks right into Ravana's trap. Rama chases this deer deep into the forest, and when he finally hits it with an arrow, the demon Maricha uses his dying breath to mimic Rama's voice, crying out for help. Sita hears it, panics, and convinces a very reluctant Lakshmana to go help his brother. This leaves her totally alone and unprotected. The trap is sprung. So Sita's abduction completely changes everything. Rama's exile is no longer just an exile. It's now an epic quest. This next part of the story is all about his desperate search and the incredible army he puts together to win his wife back from the clutches of the Demon King. In his search, Rama meets Sugriva, the exiled king of the monkeys, or the Vanaras. Rama sees a kindred spirit, another king who's lost his kingdom and his wife. So he helps Sugriva defeat his tyrannical brother and reclaim his throne. And in return, Sugriva pledges his entire army, including the incredibly powerful Hanuman and the brave Prince Angada, to Rama's cause.
The power of these new allies becomes clear almost immediately. The mighty Hanuman takes on this monumental task. He literally leaps across the entire ocean to get to Ravana's island fortress of Lanka. He finds Sita being held captive, and he gives her Rama's ring, a sign, a symbol that her husband has found her and is coming for her.
But Hanuman doesn't just deliver a message and leave. After he's captured, Ravana orders his men to set Hanuman's tail on fire as a punishment. Big mistake. Hanuman uses this to his advantage. He grows to a massive size, breaks his bonds, and with his tail blazing, he leaps from rooftop to rooftop, setting the entire city of Lanka on fire before making his escape.
Now Rama, being the righteous man he is, gives Ravana one last chance to avoid a war. He sends a messenger to demand Sita's peaceful return. But Ravana's arrogance is just off the charts. He scoffs at the offer and declares war, sealing his own fate and setting the stage for one of the most epic battles in all of mythology.
The whole war comes down to this spectacular final duel between Rama and Ravana. And the contrast between them couldn't be more stark. Rama fights from a celestial chariot sent by the gods themselves, a symbol of divine support. Ravana, on the other hand, is all about his own demonic power and brute force. It's a clash of humility versus hubris.
But Ravana seems unbeatable. Every time Rama manages to cut off one of his 10 heads, a new one just grows right back. The key to victory comes from the most unlikely source, Ravana's own brother, Vibhishana, who had already defected to Rama's side. He reveals the secret. Ravana's life force isn't in his heads, it's stored in his navel. With that crucial piece of intel, Rama aims a divine arrow and finally defeats the Demon King.
So, with Ravana defeated and Sita rescued, the main story comes to a close. But the influence of this story is far from over. So let's zoom out a bit and look at the legacy of both the epic itself and the medium that has brought it to millions of people. This whole explainer was based on a march of the Katha comic, and if you're not familiar with them, they are a complete cultural institution in India. For decades, these illustrated classics have been the very first introduction for millions of kids to their own history and mythology. They just make these huge, complex stories accessible, memorable, and really truly beloved.
And the library of stories they've covered is just vast. I mean, you have gods like Krishna and Hanuman, historical figures like the Emperor Ashoka or the warrior queen Rani of Jhansi. Amar Chitraketu has created this shared visual language for the foundational stories of a culture. They're practically family heirlooms, passed down from one generation to the next.
And really, that brings us to the final question, right? This story has been retold in countless ways for millennia. So what makes it endure? Maybe it's because its themes are just timeless. You know, the struggle between your duty and what you desire, the classic battle of good versus evil, and the unwavering power of faith. Or maybe it's just a testament to the power of a really, really good story, one that keeps capturing our imagination thousands of years later.